Oh my god. Hi, Theo. Hello, birthday boy. Hi, guys. It's Tammy with Cinematic Skeins, episode 4. This is my dog, Theodore. He turned 5 yesterday. Sorry, we just had a little interruption. I called Theo over, and then Benton hopped up here and knocked the camera over, and I was afraid it broke, and we're good. Hello, my name is Tammy, Cinematic Skeins. This is episode 4, right? Episode 4? I feel like I need to apologize to you guys for how my brain works. My brain tends to hop all over the place, which is why I kind of seem at a loss for words sometimes and I can't think of things. It's not that I can't think of them, it's that I've thought of like 6 other things related to them and they're all fighting in my brain to be the first thing that comes out of my mouth. Hi, what is your deal? Hello. I see you. I do. Can you go lay down somewhere? You just gonna sit on me? All right. I'm a little out of sorts today. I know I tend to ramble and my mind hops all over the place anyway. That's just the way my brain works. I did one of those online quizzes once and it says I'm on the autism spectrum, and I would not be surprised because my brain is a little off and I'm not good with people, and it would make me feel better to officially be told, yeah, there's something going on with your like brain chemistry as to why you're not great with people and why your brain does weird things. So it would make me feel better. But then I don't want to have to go through the hassle of like finding a doctor to diagnose me with things. Kind of like my head hurts right now because I know I have a migraine and I know I'm a migraine sufferer, but I've never been diagnosed as a migraine sufferer. I just know I get headaches frequently. Back when I actually charted them, I get like maybe like headaches for like half the month. It used to be like 75% of the month until I moved to Texas. So something in Virginia made my head hurt more than it makes my head hurt in Texas. But I've had a headache since Thursday. And so I'm apologizing in advance because my brain is even more loopy when my head hurts. Usually it's on this side. And when it's on this side, I can mostly tune it out. But when it's on this side, it actually affects me more. Like, I get more loopy. I forget things more. Sometimes I go slightly blind in one eye, or I see like little dancing speckles. And I get nauseous and light hurts. But only on this side. On this side, it's just headache. On this side is headache with symptoms. So I've had headache with symptoms for like 2.5 days. But anyway, rambling already. And I said I wouldn't ramble this time because I want to get this video filmed and edited and out there to you guys because it's been 2 weeks and I said I would do another video in 2 weeks. And I didn't want to put it off because Lord knows how long this headache is going to last. So yeah. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go with finished objects. And I might be a little, because of the headache. I finished my sweater. It's done. It's done. Let me put it on. And I'm not going to stand up because it's kind of like when I exercise, I also get headaches. And if I stand up, I'll get a rush of blood to my head and my head will pound and it will suck. And so I'm just going to have to see it sitting down. But it's done. It's done. I'm so happy. I am thinking about redoing the sleeves though, because it said to do the sleeves in the same pattern as this. And this is like shaped, so it fits really well. It is like a comfy sweatshirt, like I wanted it to be. But I am thinking of undoing this and then redoing it the same way the collar is. Because like, sorry, my head. So, because you know how the collar rolls? I'm thinking that maybe the sleeve should roll too. I think it would look better. I don't know. I still need to block it, but right now I'm just thrilled that it's done. Because, like I was telling you guys, this was originally Out of focus. Oh. Why am I out of focus? I don't know what's going on. Am I back in focus? I don't know. Do I have to lean up? Maybe the sweater's confusing it. I don't know. My dog knocked the camera over, like I said, and I don't know if he messed up the settings or whatever. I feel like I'm out of focus, but it also might be, one, I took my glasses off, even though my vision's not that bad, and two, it might be my headache, because sometimes my headache makes things blurry. But yeah, so the sweater is finally done. But like I said, this was originally my first sweater, so I feel like I started it forever ago, even though I technically started it over within this month. So it didn't take as long as I feel like it took, but it's done. And I'll probably block it tomorrow. I'm also thinking about making it longer, but I think when I block it, it's going to stretch a bit, and it'll probably stretch just enough to make it the length that I actually want it to be, because I only want like an inch or two longer. So that's done. I finished these socks. Finally. This Manos de Uruguay yarn, so soft. So soft. I did get a little bit of pooling right there though, but it's not that bad. And then the Tosh Sport yarn that I got during the yarn crawl from the Tosh mobile truck. Sorry, my head. It also makes me nauseous, and I'm really nauseous. But I want to get my video done, so you guys are getting me anyways. But this was the one-of-a-kind yarn that didn't have names, but it was Tosh Sport. And I have to say, Tosh Sport is a bit thick, but I made contrasting socks. Because I love the two colors so much, I couldn't decide which one I wanted to be the dominant color, so I decided to make it dominant in each sock. And after I got done, I realized that this is the one I wanted. But blue is my favorite color. I just happen to like rust-colored things too. Those are my finished objects. My work in progress. This is the Tia's Terrific Threads yarn that I got during the yarn crawl from Yarn and You. This is the one ball of yarn that my dog Theo keeps trying to eat. So I decided that I should go ahead and knit something with it so he'll leave it alone, because then it won't exist. But one of the things that's bothering me about this yarn is it's kind of patchy, and I don't know if that was done on purpose. I don't know why I didn't notice that when I bought it. Maybe it's done that way to give it a kind of marled effect, but it's bothering me a little bit because the socks look patchy. And I'm using my overhead light, so it's got a huge glare to it, and I'm sorry. So that's this yarn with that potluck yarn from Black Sheep Dye Works that I like to use anytime I'm using a multicolored rainbow yarn. So I've got one sock done, and I've started on the second one. And so I'm going to drink some water. I need to figure out where my saltine crackers are. I know I'm out of ginger ale. I just need to lay down. The headache's on the side. I should just stay in bed and not do anything. My other work in progress. You know, I told you guys that I have all these mini skeins and I don't know what to do with them, and I was thinking maybe a blanket. Well, I was watching We Share Needles podcast. Like, I'd seen some of their more recent episodes, but I was bored. Not bored with their episodes, but bored with work. And, you know, I was telling you guys, like, I usually put something on for background noise while I'm working. Well, I decided to go back a ways because they don't have like 5 billion episodes. So I started off at the beginning and watched all their episodes this past week. And I found that they had started a project I'm sorry, you guys, my brain, when my head hurts, I can't think straight. Like I could, like my bottle of water, I swear I've already forgotten where I set it down. It's logged me out again. This stupid thing. My iPad logs me out. Okay, so on the We Share Needles podcast, they were both working on the Coziest memory blanket. It's like a mitered square blanket that you use scraps with. And I'm just holding it like this because of the glare you're going to get. It's a free pattern, that's why I don't mind showing you, on Ravelry, and it's super, super simple. But I've decided to do that. And for me, it's not like I'm using, well, I have some scraps, but I'm always going to have a ton of leftover yarn when I make my socks because I don't make full socks. I make ankle socks because I don't like wearing full socks. So this calls for 5 to 6 grams of sock yarn scraps is what you use when you're making this, and I definitely have tons of that, so I've started doing that. So, and it's my first time doing mitered squares, but I've decided that my goal is to do squares for every single skein of fingering yarn that I have used since I've started knitting, and at least knock that out by the end of the year. And I just started this last night, so I've only got like 2.5 squares going so far. But it's my first time making mitered squares. I didn't realize how freaking easy they were. I also didn't realize they were garter stitch. But this is a skein that I bought to add as a touch of fun color in a sock, and I've never used it, so I decided to use it for this because I can, looking at it, I can never tell like what sock I would put it in, but I like it as a mitered square. I think it's pretty as a mitered square. And then this is I use this in a sock, and then I use this in my planetary sweater. So yeah, I'm just going through, and I've already got a bag of the yarn I've used for my socks to start off with to make this Coziest Memories blanket. And I don't know how long this blanket is going to take, but it'll at least give me something to do with all of these mini skeins. So like I said, I'm going to try to use all the ones that I've actually, off of the skeins I've already actually knit with, like knit other things with, and I'm going to try to get those squares done by the end of the year, which shouldn't be too bad because I haven't been knitting but for so long, and I've only really mostly knit socks. So all those socks I showed you guys, I just need to pull those skeins out and pop a square on for each of those. So I don't know, like this black square looks bigger for some reason. It says you don't have to pay attention to your gauge when you're doing this. You just do 23 stitches. So each square you pick up 23 stitches and then you cast on 23 stitches. So it's like 46 stitch square. So I don't know. It's fun. It's fun. I don't know how long this is going to take, but it's a project. And it's a simple project. And I found myself like wanting to finish the square, so, and it's because it's constantly a color change, I feel like it's something I want to keep up with doing. Because my other work in progress was my Bright Axis tee, which I haven't touched since I showed it to you guys the first time. And it's just probably because it's sock knitting with no color change. So it's just simple stockinette all the way up, like I said, up to the armpit. And I'm still like that much done, but there's no color changes. So at least this is a little fun because I change colors for every single square. I don't know. So those are my works in progress. Let me show you guys what I dyed last weekend. And I also kind of want to show you guys my mistakes. Because like I said, I'm a new knitter, I'm a new dyer. knitting, I know I'm going to keep everything I make pretty much. I might make people like the occasional scarf or sock, but it's really just me. And like I was telling you guys, I don't have a lot of friends here. I don't have a lot of friends that are into knitting. So pretty much every garment I make is going to be mine. So I don't see myself dyeing a lot unless I start selling my yarn. And even then, I mostly dye for fun. So if I were to start selling my yarn, which I am thinking of doing, it wouldn't be like a regular dyer where they have like, here's 10 skeins of this particular colorway for you to sell or whatever. For me, I've dyed 3 skeins of this color because I was messing around. I'm only going to use 1, so here's the 2 I want to sell. And I don't know how well that's going to work. Because you know, like, people want to buy sweater quantities sometimes. And I don't know if that's something that I'll ever have. For me, for the most part, I like doing sock sets. Because I like dyeing mini skeins. So I kind of feel like maybe my yarn dyeing is going to be sock skein sets. Is that a thing? Do people do that? I don't know. I feel like that's what I would do. Or that's what I want to do. But then again, if I make a really cool color and if somebody wants to make a sweater out of it, I want to have that yarn available. If I ever write anything down and remember the color recipes. So I guess what I could do is do sock sets, and if someone's ever interested in a sock quantity, they could contact me and it would be like a special order kind of thing. I don't know. But since I have cinematic skeins, I did order some business cards with my name on it, and like cinematic skeins, and my email, and my Instagram. I didn't put the YouTube on there yet because apparently you have to have 100 subscribers before you can change the YouTube like link to your actual name or whatever. And I didn't have that yet, and I wanted to go ahead and have some cards made because I am impatient. But anyway, yarn dyeing. I'm going to show you guys my successes and my fails. This is a success. This is Another World, Another Time, and it's a play off of the Dark Crystal. And what I did is dye secrets. I dyed this a bunch of colors of purple with... what I did is I laid out a bunch of cups, poured all my purple dye stock into each one, and then pulled other dye stocks and like injected a different color into each purple, and then I poured those on to the yarn to create different shades of purple. And then after the purple was done, I dipped the whole thing in like a wash of black so that half of the skein was like a blackish purple. I might have used too much black because only in bright light, like in this room, can you tell that this black is actually purple. But I thought it was cool because it looked like a crystal shard being inserted into a dark crystal. Get it? So this is my dark crystal colorway. And then while I was thinking about the dark crystal, I was like, ooh, never ending story. And I made a mistake. I made a couple mistakes. So never ending story. And this is how you knew I was a messed up kid. One of my favorite characters from the Neverending Story is Gmork, and Gmork's the bad guy. He's the helper of the Nothing, which is the thing that's basically eating the world of Fantasia. And I think the reason that I liked him so much as a kid is because I was obsessed with wolves when I was a kid, and Gmork's a wolf. And he's like in his cave, and he's like this giant black wolf, and all you can see is these super green eyes of his, right? Well, I wanted to create a black yarn with spots of green, like his eyes. And I used the wrong shade of... Well, I didn't use the wrong shade of green. I used too much of the dye stock because it was supposed to be a pale green, like his eyes. But I wanted it to be so that when you work this up, you have black, and then you have the 2 spots of green as his eyes as you're working it in a sock. So this is my Gmork colorway. And I'm not quite happy with it, but I still like it. And I like black yarn because I'm the weird knitter that doesn't mind having black yarn. So I know I'm going to use this. It's just not the right shade of green for what I wanted to do. And then I didn't space, like I said, I wanted it to be his eyes. I didn't space the greens out enough. Like this should be, let's see if I can hold it. Like all of this should be black. So just the two spaces of green should have been a little bit further apart. But that's my Gamort colorway. And I'm sorry I'm getting quieter. My head is pounding. And this was going to be a longer video because I was going to go over bags like I mentioned last time. And I have a few. But I might just have to do a bag episode next week maybe. I have enough bags to make it a full episode, I think. With my rambling and everything, I think we can make a full bag episode. But I don't know. We'll see. And then, never ending story. I was also thinking I wanted to dye the Orin, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. And I didn't get the color right. And then I still don't think I quite figured out the best way to do it. But this was my Orin colorway. She had the silver and the gold snakes wrapping around each other. I don't think this is the right shade because it's like a golden yellow. And I wanted it to be like a gold. More like this. I think would have looked better. But then, I don't know if it's because I'm just not a fan of yellow that I couldn't get this right and that I don't think it looks good together. I don't know. I don't think this worked. And then I couldn't figure out how to do a clean break between the two colors. Or how to get this to not be tonal. But they blend into each other. Because like I said, I think it's only right to share the successes and the fails with you guys. So you can see like I'm not like a perfect dyer or anything. I can show you my successes and failures and you can say, hey, I can do that. Or, you know, okay, that happened to her too. Like, you know, we can bond over our mistakes. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I'm considering over dyeing it or doing like a speckle on it or something. Like, I don't know. I'm not happy. It's not what I wanted. Then I had another skein that I was dyeing for Monster Squad. And now it's a Stranger Things skein because I used too much brown. So it started off a really pretty like chocolatey brown and then like shades of gray with like little specks of green, because if you've ever watched Monster Squad, which I highly recommend, I also recommend it for children because I watched it as a kid and it didn't mess me up. But people are a bit more PC now than they were back then. So there is a case of a kid calling another kid the F word, like a derogatory F word. And Dracula calls the little, like one of the little girls a B word. But, you know, back then, that stuff was okay. Like, it's never okay. But, you know, back then in movies, it wasn't a big deal like it is now. Like, I recommended it. Can't talk. I recommended it to my boss to show to his kids, not thinking that one, his family's religious, like super religious, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but they don't watch movies with bad words in them. Like, they use that website. I can't remember what it's called because it's not my thing. That website that like filters out all the words and stuff in movies. Like, I can't remember what it's called, but there's a movie website that does that. But his kids aren't allowed to like hear bad language or anything like that. And I recommended Monster Squad and I felt stupid because him and his wife started watching it to make sure it was something their kids could watch. And he was like, Tammy, no. And I was like, I watched it. So I didn't know. No, leave it. I didn't think about it, but I recommend Monster Squad if like your kids are like me as a kid and into horror and things like that. Like, It's basically Goonies with classic horror movie icons like Frankenstein, Dracula, the creature from the Black Lagoon, and the Wolfman. But like Goonies style. It's awesome. It's like one of my all-time favorite movies. But anyway, I digress. I was originally dyeing this as Wolfman's Got Nards. So it was like brown and gray and green because the guy that plays the Wolfman in the movie is wearing like a green jacket at one point. So I wanted to put like a touch of green in there. However, my dye stock is very concentrated because I don't pay attention to what I put in things or the amounts that I use, and I used too much brown. And what happened was when I went to dip this to make sure that I got the last of the dye out of the lighter side, the brown bled into the lighter side and dyed everything a shade of tan. So it wiped out most of my green. There's a little bit of speck so you can still see some of the green, but it made everything like this coffee kind of color. But it works out because, do you remember in Strange Things when Hopper is at the sheriff's station and like the secretary is like telling him everything that happened for the day and like people that he needs to talk to and everything? He's like, mornings are for coffee and contemplation. And she keeps talking. He's like, coffee and contemplation. Coffee and contemplation. It looks like coffee, right? So this was a happy accident. This is also a happy accident. Do you see the sparkles? Can you see it? I'm not a glittery person. But when I decided I wanted to dye for some of my favorite movies have a crap ton of glitter in them. Legend, crap ton of glitter. Labyrinth, crap ton of glitter. Neverending Story doesn't have a ton of glitter, but there is glitter, because if you look at Falkor, the way his scales glitter. So I decided, because I told you guys I wanted to send Chevis a care package of like stuff that I thought she would like. I have a bunch of stuff I thought she would like. But sorry, my camera cut off. But I have a bunch of stuff that I think Chevis would like. And I wanted to dye some yarn for Labyrinth for her, and I decided to use this particular base, which is my, what's it called? What are the different glitters? There's gold glitter, there's silver glitter, bronze. So this is my bronze glitter colorway. And Labyrinth, when they first go into the labyrinth, it's very dark and reddish brown and everything's all super glittery. And I thought this would be perfect. So I was dyeing for that, and it was this really pretty like grayish color that faded to a burgundy, that faded to like a deep green. I don't know where I got the green from. But again, too much brown. So I ended up with this. Happy accident. I still like it, but it's not what I was going for. So I don't think I'm going to send this to Chevis. I think I'm going to dye something else for her. I don't know. I might just go through my stash and send her yarns I think she would like. Because I feel like she has a knitting podcast. I need to send her fiber and not just like random gifts of things that I came across that I thought she would like. Like, I need to send gifts. So, I don't know. I haven't decided. I do like this glitter though. Okay, and then these are fails. This is a skein that I did a ton of speckling on, and then I was trying to over dye it in a purpley gray, and I grabbed the magenta jar by mistake and ended up with this. I don't know what's happening with this. I don't know if I'm ever going to do anything with it because I don't like it. And I don't even like it enough to give it to someone. Like, I don't know. So it's just sitting in my closet. And then there's this. And this is another one where I didn't pay attention to my dye stock. So all the colors are lighter than they were supposed to be. Because this was supposed to be like a rainbow type thing. fail. I will probably just make socks out of this because I don't really care. This skein is the first skein that I ever hand painted, and it is not a fail. It is one that I love it so much. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to knit with it. I don't want to do anything with it. I just want to look at it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like the colors fade into each other so perfectly. And it's like it's a deep gray fading into a black, and like the blue, the green, and the purple. They just, oh. Maybe I should only hand paint, because I feel like the yarns that I dye turn out the best when I hand paint them. But when I try kettle dyeing is when I fail. Maybe hand painting is my thing. Maybe I should stick to hand painting. I love this yarn. This is Viger. If you've ever watched Star Trek movies, I'm more of a Star Trek person than I am a Star Wars person. This is my Viger colorway. It's dyed based on when Spock goes into the Viger, like machine looking thing, and all those colors and things are like passing him by and like reflecting off of his helmet. This is Viger. This is my favorite of the yarns that I've dyed. Like, I like that rust colored one that I showed you guys that I dyed for the sock set for Sweet November, but this is my all-time absolute favorite thing that I've dyed, so I thought I would share it with you. Oh, my brain hurts. Let's see what else. Showed you guys all that stuff. Oh, Happy Mail. It has occurred to me that Happy Mail is when somebody else sends you something, and that's Happy Mail. I consider Happy Mail stuff that I've ordered that has finally arrived. But I've, like, to stay on point, I feel like I should lump my Happy Mail in with my acquisitions, because technically it's acquisitions. So let me share some acquisitions with you. I know I said I was on a yarn diet. However, I forgot that I had pre-ordered this yarn, so it doesn't count as breaking my yarn diet, because I had ordered it, I pre-ordered it because it was like a 2 or 3 week turnaround time for the yarn dyer. So I had already ordered it before I decided to go on a yarn diet, so it doesn't count. This is from a Canadian dyer, Dye For You. Look at the rainbow socks on the sheep. I love it, I love it, I love it. This is the Hearth colorway. It is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 420 yards, self-striping. It is freaking gorgeous. My iPad keeps logging me out, so I will log in on my phone to show you what it looks like when it's worked up. It's freaking gorgeous. And I saw it, you know, sometimes you're just browsing around on Facebook, or not Facebook, on Instagram, and it just shows you stuff like from people that you aren't following that you might be interested in. Isn't that pretty? Trying not to get the glare. Ah, it's so pretty. So I saw that picture on Instagram. I mix them all up. It's the same company. I saw that picture on Instagram. I was like, I need that yarn. And I was like waiting until she posted like, I'm gonna restock this. And I was like, done, mine. So I ordered that. And even though this yarn is just merino nylon, it is really soft. Really, really soft. I cannot wait to knit with this. And it smells good. I'm one of those people that smells their yarn. Like, this smells good. But yes, Dye For You on Etsy. Beautiful. She has a lot of really pretty colors, but I just bought this one because Canada, and Canada shipping, expensive. So yeah. Then I did break my yarn diet. I went to West 7th Wool, because Mad Stash I keep calling it Mad Stash. It's Mad Tosh, Mustache. Mustache yarn has a colorway for Pink Floyd, like Dark Side of the Moon, like that kind of stripy colorway, and I love it, and I can't find it anywhere. But they had one color called Apple Picking that had similar colors in it. It looked similar on their website, but like looking at the skein of yarn, it doesn't look the same as it did on the website, so I don't know. But I went to pick that up. Let me see. Yeah. So I got that, and then I don't know if this is Biscotte or Biscotte, but it's their Biscotte yarn. 435 yards, 85% superwash, 15% nylon. Also self-striping. I like self-striping yarn. I feel like it makes me work on things faster because I'm constantly trying to get to the next color. And then I got this yarn, and this is Mountain Colors and their Twizzlefoot yarn, which is 53% superwash, 17% domestic wool, 17% silk, and 13% nylon, 450 yards. And I know I have a lot of rainbow type color schemes, but this one's marled. And it's so hard to find a superwash marled yarn. Like, I had to buy it, even though it's got yellow in it, but it's like a goldish yellow, so it's not that bad. But you know what? It kind of looks like that yarn that's a fail. It's just like, this is the deeper shade I was going for, and this is what I got. But yeah. I like marled yarn. I think it's really pretty. We can go over all my other bags next episode. Because I don't feel well and I need to go lay down. Stupid headaches. But I will try to get another episode to you guys. Maybe this week. Or, because I know I do them every 2 weeks, but I have enough bags to do a full episode, I think. I can fill up 30 minutes with the bags. So maybe next week. I'll talk to you guys next week. Yeah. I'm gonna go lay down. I hope everybody is well. Happy knitting. See you next time.